Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 1444 and double number 1338. Two more Hulk trades for you from Jeff Lolitron. Excuse me. Next is Hulk Volume 3, Hulk No More. This collects Hulk Volume 2 issues 10 and 13 and the 600th issue of the Incredible Hulk. The first three issues is a three-parter, where it's the Defenders, which is basically the Hulk team with time dispatch versions of the Silver Surfer, Namor, and Doctor Strange versus the Offenders. That is literally what they call them, which is comprised of Red Hulk, Tiger Shark, Baron Mordo, and Terrax the Tamer. Oh, and by the way, in the story, now in the case of Silver Surfer from his perspective, this is actually just after he became the hero of Galactus. For Doctor Strange is during the Roy Thomas stuff. Yes, as you can see, Doctor Strange is wearing a mask. That was something they did. There was an experiment they did back in the 70s. It didn't work, and the book got canceled that period of time. And of course, we have the Submariner, who I think is from the 60s era when he was still kind of a villain-ish. So basically you have Hulk with Gorilla at the start of the story. And you have this mysterious hand grabbing at the Hulk. Now, in the actual thing, now Gorilla's been dead. Yeah, Gorilla died back in issue 200 of Incredible Hulk back in the I think it was the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, that she died. Yeah, it was a story that they decided to kill her off. And her niece is currently the ruler of her planet. So, we have it where the Hulk is basically gathered for this game. He's got by the Grandmaster take on the Collector, and the Grandmaster assembles his team, which is basically has, well, the Defenders, and the Collector has got the Offenders. And they have their basically a big matchup. You have Red Hulk versus Green Hulk, Namor versus Tiger Shark, Silver Surfer versus Terrax the Tamer, who, from his perspective, has never met before, and Doctor Strange versus Baron Mordo. Excellent bit of fighting, and they're actually not happy with the fact they're too evenly matched, so throw an unexpected element in there. So, we have Baron Mordo and Doctor Strange going face-to-face with Galactus, which, that's interesting. We have Silver Surfer and Terrax going face-to-face with the Psycho Man. Yes, Psycho Man. Trying to think who else was. Oh yeah, we had Namor and Tiger Shark going up against Dormammu. Yes, Dormammu, a known Doctor Strange villain. Yep. And of course, at one point, the Hulk is eventually killed by, of course, Red Hulk. And everyone's like, I won. Yay. And of course, he gets new options. Go back in the game or watch. He's like, okay. So he kills, the first thing he does, he kills Psycho Man. He says, I never even know who you are. I mean, as a reader, I know who Psycho Man is. He's a crazy Fantastic Four villain. He's also responsible for turning the Invisible Woman to Mace. Yes, let's make Susan Richards evil. Make her reveal less revealing clothing. And how does Richards back normal? Insulting her, slap her, and then rip up the cape off her back. Yeah, that's how you deal with evil Sue Richards. Yep. And of course, Galactus, well, in the case of Silver Surfer, he gives Galactus back to Silver Surfer, obviously. And Dormammu was eventually dealt with. And of course, the Grandmaster is not happy with this. So, eventually Red Hulk decides to just screw him and just kill him. Yep, he kills him. Also, they have their various loves. Excuse me, they're taking from him. Like, for Doctor Strange, it's Clea. For Hulk, it's Gorilla. For Namor, it's Lady Dorma. For the Silver Surfer, it's Shalabal. Who, I should point out, though, he, of course, wants nothing to do with this woman at all. Nope. Despite the fact this is actually his first love. Currently, he wants nothing to do with her at all in recent times. Yeah, because he's with a new character named Dawn Granger in the Silver Surfer in his own title, which basically, when it ended, no one knew what was actually being published because it was barely being marketed. Yep, and of course with the Grandmaster dead, and of course the Avengers are sent back to their timeline. Red Hulk is set up someplace else, and along with the basically we have the Hulk telling the Collector, "Give me Jarella," and he gives her Jarella's corpse. He's not happy with it, but he accepts her death. She goes off back to where she was. The rest of the Defenders are basically back to where they were. Also, I should point out, though, during the course of the storyline, we briefly had the Smart Hulk pop up here. Yeah, where you had the period... if anyone knows about the period of time, I think it was in the early 90s, I think it was, when Peter Davison's book, we had Bruce Banner's mind in the Hulk's body. We have basically retained his intelligence. And, well... then, of course, pretty much like right after that... right after the storyline happened, I think probably off panel, because basically, if you wonder what happened between this storyline and what happened next, which was issue 600 of Incredible Hulk, presumably that's when the Hulk met his teenage son, Scar. Because, well, that's probably what was being published at that point, because Greg Pak was writing the title. And Greg Pak himself will later take over Incredible Hulk right after 600. And he would do the book up until issue 635. Yeah, he did for 35 straight issues. I don't think he worked at 600. No, I think it was all Loeb. Where basically we have Spider-Man actually fighting the Red Hulk, which that I thought was really cool. Yes. Yeah, you have pretty much Spider-Man versus the Red Hulk, which that was a fight that I think was expected for a long time. Yeah, and we start off with basically a flashback to the events of World War Hulk, which is the first time it's referencing here. And then, of course, we have She-Hulk meeting with Ben Urich, of all people, who brings in Peter Parker, who turns into Spider-Man. And then they break into a former Gamma base, where AIM is there with frickin' MODOK. Yes. MODOK. So eventually we have Doc Samson turn into this. This is simply Samson. Yeah, no doctor, just Samson. Because his full name is Dr. Leonard Samson. Apparently this is a third personality of his that he just somehow developed here. Just cause. And of course then we have the awesome Spider-Man versus the Red Hulk. I should point out though this issue is drawn by Ed McGuinness. Yeah, Ed McGuinness pretty much draws this whole thing. Yeah, he does pretty much everything in here. Aside from having Hulk first, and then we have Hulk who's trapped in a tank for some reason. Yes, as for when in the heck this happened prior to this, because there probably was some time that passed between this issue and 600. So, my guess is probably after he met his son. It's possible. That happened in Scar's Son of Hulk number 12. Which, even though that he left the book at that point, the character, the book was continued for another 5 issues as simply Son of Hulk, where it featured Scar's brother, Harold Cole, who very much was the star of that book for the last few issues of that series. And then he had a Roma Kings tie-in, where it was Roma King, Son of Hulk. And then he popped up in Incredible Hulk, where he was the main villain of the story, known as Dark Sun. And then the character died. Yep, not much to that character. And then the unthinkable happens in this issue. Because it was mentioned in the Defenders vs. Avengers storyline that the Red Hulk has the ability to absorb energy. Specifically, he's very good at absorbing gamma radiation. And so, Red Hulk depowers Green Hulk. Oh, and by the way, this lasts for a whole year up until World War Hulks. Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, people know about Rick Jones becoming, well, Red Hulk. Yeah, Ben Urich, who's basically talked to by Red Hulk, approached him. Like, Urich, you survived. You think that gutless moosop like you would get out? What would you? And what about Jennifer? Is she right? I didn't come here to talk about She-Hulk. Well, if you think you get timid, then you get out line. Get in line. I've been threatened by a dangerous man all my life. Who? The Kingpin? Don't make me laugh. It's something a Red Hulk would know about the frickin' Kingpin. Yeah, and this guy, As far as I know, Red Hulk never fought Kingpin. That would have been interesting. Basically a super strong human fighting up against a Hulk. He's like, do you know how many buildings were knocked down the last Hulk on a rampage? 20. I said it was only one. What if the building where everyone in the front line works? Do we step the entire staff? Whereabouts Peter Parker? Maybe call a sick day, right about. And then he writes the end. That end pretty much ends that issue there. Now 13 is, believe it or not, a Dark Reign tie-in. Yes, it's a Dark Reign tie-in. You might be thinking, how is that possible? Well, because Dark Adventures show up here. Excuse me. The whole point of this issue is just an aftermath issue 600. Where in this issue, Bruce finds out that Rick is now A-Bomb, and of course they're fighting Dark Avengers. And pretty much all this issue is just basically set up for the Greg Pak run, would basically have it where it's still called Incredible Hulk, even though that there's no regular Hulk. Yes, it's basically a team-up series of father and son, of Bruce working with his son Scar for about a year before he gets his gamma radiation back. This book is fantastic. Love it. Give this one a 10 out of 10. It's an excellent book. Yep. And you want something that's even just as awesome as that? You want Hulk having another team again? Well, here you go. Well, it's another team book anyways. I mean, last time was Offenders and Avenger. It was Defenders and Offenders. This time you have Hulk Volume 4. Hulk versus X-Force. And you're probably thinking, okay, which X-Force is he fighting? It's Wolverine's X-Force, the Strike Team. By the way, this book collection is 1418. Now, in this story, we have Domino just minding your own business, just basically pointing a sniper rifle, and she spots a mysterious guy. And then this guy turns into the Red Hulk. And then he looks at her and says, wrong place, wrong time. It's like he's about to kill her. And then he's stopped by General Ross of all people. He says, no, we're not going to basically do your way. We're going to do my way. We're basically going to have you form your own team, basically called Code Red. Which basically, these people he recruited, well, he recruited Thundera. That happened back in issue 9. He's got Thundera. The first person he recruits is freaking Deadpool. Yes, Deadpool. He also recruits the Punisher. Trying to think who else does he recruit here. Let's see. The Crimson Dynamo. Yes, that's interesting. And Elektra. Yes, Elektra. And this is so hilarious. Like how they end the first issue. Like, so after he recruits, by the way, how he recruits when he meets up with the Punisher the first time, he stabs him. And he's like, that's it? That's what you're going to do? Stab me? And wow, Ian Churchill basically doesn't do a bad job drawing Elektra. Makes her hot. And this is so fun. And then they go to a bar, and he's like, Domino, messy or not? And she's like, I see you brought some friends. And then we turn the page. It's like, places allows me, not my real home. I brought friends too. And then we have Deadpool saying, who ordered the chicken salad sandwich? That's so funny. Yeah, she brought X-Force. And we have this great line of Wolverine. And you have Domino saying, cheers. And Wolverine saying, X-Force, kill who you want, but Big Red's mine. Which is so hilarious because it's Wolverine versus Hulk in the 21st century. And at first we have, like, here's the dialogue between the two, and here's Red Hulk. Everyone on my team, take up my hand. You get $1 million bonus hazard pay. Takes a lot more nickels. That's a lot of nickels, Big Red. Hand over Domino or your people live. Not gonna happen, bub. He doesn't say bub. I'm like, why does it have Lopez have Wolverine said bub? And he have Punisher versus X-23 of all people. And he says, walk away, little girl. And she's like, I'd sooner cut out your eyes out. And you have Crimson Dynamo versus Archangel. You are understanding that this is business, not personal. And Archangel says, then you're not getting paid enough to be beating you're going to take. Deadpool, I just spoke to the cook. Got one more Eskimo pie if you want it. And then you have Warpath saying, what the hell are you talking about? You have Elektra, we didn't come here for you. We'll leave with you. And Domino just said, take a sip of my martini glass, saying, good luck with that. And Elektra's like, okay, so everybody's gonna put it but me? And then you have Wolverine basically saying, let's take us outside, Red. No problem. I'll beat you up anyways. Yeah, they brawl. They even slice at his freaking eyes. Yeah, this is a plot that lasts for a few issues. It takes a while to heal up. They have Archangel versus Crimson Dynamo. This is basically like a very weird match. Like, why the heck would Archangel fight Crimson Dynamo, an Iron Man villain, which is so weird. You have Warpath fighting Warpath. This makes no freaking sense, especially since Deadpool will join this team. We recommend to write the book. And you have like X-23 slicing Punisher's gun in half. And then you have Domino versus Thundera. And then of course she kind of easily defeats Thundera. And then you have look like Punisher about to lose. Of course, Warpath gets wrecked. And you have Russian, basically Crimson. Oh, by the way, it was written in the previous issue that you have Punisher. I don't like working with Ruskies, which okay, that kind of is a nod probably to some past stuff. Probably it's a nod to the Russian from Punisher Volume 4, the Walking Back Frank storyline, which I believe this storyline was written by Warren Ellis, not mistaken. You have Crimson be lifted in the air by frickin' Archangel. And of course, he gets out of his suit and the suit explodes. And you have and you have a small nod to Death of Elektra. You have Punisher stabbing X-23 just under her breast, like right underneath here, and poking right through. It's very similar to when Bullseye killed Elektra. And she's like, doing this before she said, no, you're not taking it seriously. I poke you? What's next? Toothpicks? And he's like, nah, this'll do. And then she whacks him with a freaking 8-ball. Yes, a freaking 8-ball. And of course, Domino's like, game, set, match on there. I've held back on purpose. Now you're going to talk to me. Oh yeah, she also wrecks the mirror behind the bar where she's at it. And they have a brief conversation. You have Domino at one point having like you have Elektra having one of her size, and you have Domino having a piece of glass to Elektra's neck. I mean, it's like these two are so close. If these two basically didn't have weapons with each other, I would not be surprised when the artist had this set up that he has them so close that I would not be surprised if maybe Ian Churchill was actually planning to have Elektra and Domino make out right here in the bar. But it's a good thing these two are straight. Yeah, they both are guys. Yeah, in the case of Domino, she prefers Wolverine over Elektra. Elektra likes Punisher. Yeah, that happens in Thunderbolts. Yep. And pretty much you have the bar pretty much explode and everybody gets away. And of course you have round 2 right at the freaking cab is throwing itself. And then you have basically Wolverine driving a cab right into the Hulk, which is so hilarious. I mean, yeah, it's a cab and it's the Hulk. What do you expect? And then something really weird happens. Like there's some weird explosion. Hulk's blind. And then we have Red She-Hulk show up. Yep, this is her first appearance. Who this woman is makes no frickin' sense. Yeah, they revealed this in the War Hulk storyline of who she is. And it makes no frickin' sense of who this is. Like, who Red Hulk is makes total sense. Red She-Hulk? No, it makes no frickin' sense. Yeah, and this is the outfit they go for, this torn outfit. Though she gets a much more better outfit later. I mean, it's assumed this might be a combination of Domino and Elektra. And of course, she leads her team away. And then she gets a bite out of Wolverine's face. And Wolverine's like, "Who are you? You sound like Jen Walters." After a few shots of Don Jello. That'd be ironic if I try to be smarter, stronger version of a Green Hulk. It's ironic Jen Walters is dead. No, she isn't. Nope, Jen Walters is not dead. Don't worry about that. And of course, he gets angry at the fact his face is trying to get bitten up by a woman. Probably wouldn't be the first woman trying to bite at his face. I'm sure with the various women Wolverine slept with over the decades, I'm sure one of them probably bit him at some point. I'm sure they probably have. And then you have Thundera versus Archangel, which this is a very weird lineup, a weird matchup because, like, in case you're curious though, does X-Force ever encounter Thundera ever again? Nope, they never do. By the way, this came out in 2009. So Red She-Hulk leads Red Hulk away. And of course, they talk about various different things. Yes, and then we have this weird spotlight where it looks like a love, like a heart. I thought this was kind of weird. Also, the way the artist drew this, apparently they forgot to put the scratch lines across Red Hulk's eyes. Yeah, apparently they forgot for a few pages. And then, of course, then we have Punisher who's got his shirt torn. I'm sure the ladies probably reading this were like, huh, Punisher's got basically big muscles. So, yeah, and then, of course, Samson turns on Red Hulk. Yep, Samson turns on him. Yep, and then Red Hulk starts fighting Red She-Hulk. And it says, I've got my vision back. He got his vision back a while ago. Why the heck was he doing it now? And then, of course, you have Red Hulk, and you have Punisher versus Thundera, which, that's interesting. Yeah, and then, of course, you have Red Hulk just stumbling to a subway train. It's like, everybody calm down. I'm not going to be here very long. Mommy, this monster's going to eat us. Is the monster going to eat us? And then you have a guy say, don't kill us. It's like, really? Now I saw it better. And you have Red She-Hulk basically sticking her arms right through the roof of the subway car. Yep, and pulls out Red Hulk, and they brawl. We even have a two-page spread turned on its side where they fight on top of a freaking building. I'm not sure where the heck this is. Like, it could be actually, I think this might be the Empire State Building, which makes no freaking sense, the fact that it would be up here. And of course, he gets knocked off. And apparently, that wakes up the Thing. Because the place where Red Hulk basically landed was right near the Baxter Building, just by sheer coincidence. Yes, the frickin' Baxter Building. And then somehow we have it where Silver Sable was confronted by X-Force. Which, that makes some frickin' sense. And we have the entirety of X-Force here. Elixir, for some reason, was not at that battle in the bar for some reason. That's why I picked him on the team. And, of course, well, then Punisher gets a new shirt. And they begin, like, various stuff here. Apparently, at some point with this issue here, with issue 18, they changed the interior artist. Because at first, it's, well, first it's Ian Churchill. And then for some reason they swipe artist. Yes, for the 5th issue, basically 18, it's Wallace Portillo. Yeah, this guy is the artist for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah, I mean, Ian Churchill's not bad artwork. Yeah, the way Ian Churchill draws this, it's a little better than, let's say, what he was doing for Supergirl prior to this. It's basically, this whole issue is about Doc Samson. And just a lot of setup. Yeah, pretty much the whole point of this issue is simply put, set up for Fall of the Hulk. That's really what issue 18 is. That's what it's there for. Setting up that particular event. Yeah, MODOK saying he's ready, and that's the story. There. Yeah, this is, of course, really good. Yeah, it is really, really good. Like, apparently, like, before they switch over to goggles, apparently, at one point, Ian Church was putting goggles on Domino, And then he just removed them for some reason. Yep. I love the sketchbooks that they put back in its premiere trade. It's so freaking good. Yeah. This book is fantastic. I give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. Really good. Now, next Comic Corner, we did the final 2 trades of Jeff Loeb's epic run for Hulk. Yes. And here's how I share coincidence. Both the first and second writer of this run, both writers' first name was Jeff. Though they're spelled differently. This, Jeff Loeb, his name is spelled J-E-P-F. Yeah. For some reason, that's how he spells his name. Yeah. It's J-O-P-H. This matter of fact, his name is Jeff. Jeff Loeb. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But both these stories are great. Love them. Can't wait to discuss the final 2 trades, which are basically 2 mini crossovers between this book and Incredible Hulk. Yeah, apparently Fall of the Hulks and World War Hulks was something that Jeff Loeb was building toward for 2 years. And, oh boy, I can't wait to discuss this stuff. This is going to be really good, okay? This next Comic Corner, which, who knows when that'll be. Bye.